Hello and welcome, Janet McNish. Welcome to my Esky channel.
Hello, Simone. Thank you for inviting me. Good to be here.
Fantastic. Esky channel, I called it Esky, which is acronym ESCIE, because I wanted the platform to be about empowering, sharing, connecting, informing, and engaging. Had to remind myself there. And I started this channel a couple of years ago, actually, because I wanted to share my personal journey with some of my health battles over the years. But Simone's not all about health and health issues. There's so much more that interests me and that I want to discuss and share. And if it's a blessing to people who watch this channel, then fantastic. That's one of the main reasons why I started doing this. And that brings us rather nicely onto the reason why we're here today, which is to discuss the Navigating Life Anthology book series, which is due to be launched on the 31st of July. Janet and myself are two of the 29 amazing all-female authors who contributed to this anthology series. And we just wanted to share a little bit with you today about what that's about, who Janet is, and to give you just a little bit more information about Janet's story. And of course, to direct you to that special day, the 31st of July at 10 a.m. and also to entice you to buy the books. So without further ado, we'll go straight over to you, Janet. If you could just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you, Simone. So who I am, as you know, my name's Janet McNish. And first of all, I'm a child of God and I am very creative and I love people. And as an expression of all of that, I've moved from a design career into working as a counsellor. And I've been doing this for almost 25 years. And during that time, I've managed mental health projects and a counselling service and been involved with various committees around mental health and well-being and supporting women and vulnerable people in the community. So that's what I do.
Fantastic. And I should have explained. So the Navigating Life Anthology series was born out of Evolve. Evolve is a women's ministry at my church, ICANN Community Church. And it was set up so that we could have a space where we come together, all women. We used to meet once every quarter, thereabouts, and would meet in a hotel where we would share over brunch and would have speakers who would come and feed us with nutrition, spiritual nutrition, would have information about well-being, about financial matters, and a whole host of other things. And of course, once the pandemic hit, we had to go online and it became a Zoom event. So from March 2020, it was meant to last for 12 weeks. But of course, 16 months later, here we are. And that's because it turned out to be such a phenomenal success. So we were having amazing speakers, not just nationally, but internationally, who carried on the tradition of just spiritual fortification, mental health, financial education, a whole raft of topics that we covered, which we just found invaluable. And it kind of set us up for the week ahead. And beyond that was the Navigating Life Anthology series, which was born. And this is down to an amazing lady called Claudine Reed, MBE, who coordinates the Evolve group so amazingly. She had an idea one day and she thought, rather than having women come on the platform and share, why not take it a level beyond and write a book and invite those of us who attend on a regular basis to share our stories. And the criteria had to be when you navigated a period in your life that was particularly challenging, but more importantly, how you actually navigated your way out of it. And that brings us rather nicely on to Janet McNish's story. So Janet, first of all, how did you come across the Evolve platform?
I heard about it through word of mouth. I wasn't sure if it was an email, but when I saw Claudine Reed was doing an event, I thought I've got to be there. So I attended and the phrase that I was going to say was, I haven't looked back since, but I have looked back in gratitude, because it is a phenomenal setting every week, and it just energizes me. I love it.
It is. It is. I often say, when I think about evolve, the word FOMO, or the acronym FOMO, immediately comes to mind, because, like yourself, I've just found it invaluable. So even on Saturdays when I've got other stuff to do, I will always have evolve on in the background, camera on, camera off, just because I fear that I might miss out if I don't tune in. And it was one such Saturday that, of course, the announcement was made about the Navigating Life Anthology series. And yeah, here we are. So it's one thing to be attending on a Saturday and, if you like, passively or actively partaking. It's quite another to put yourself forward as an author. What actually inspired you, Janet, to want to share your story?
Ooh, when I heard the opportunity, the invitation for authors, I thought, I've got to do it. It's now or never. Because when I wrote my dissertation, my counselling dissertation in the 90s, someone said to me, if you can write a dissertation, you can write a book. And that resonated with me. When I've spoken on the radio or in different settings and conferences, people have asked me where my book was. I'm like, I don't have a book. And it was something I was going to do one day. I think there's a book in everyone, and I just thought I would do it whenever, but this came and I just thought I just had to do it there and then, part of a group. And I didn't want to miss out. So I didn't want to be left out. So I want to play, so I joined.
I hear you. As you embarked on that process, what did you find, if at all, what aspects did you find challenging as you started to write and think about what you wanted to share?
Okay, so I knew immediately I was going to write about a particular situation that I'd experienced. It was an accident I'd experienced in January 2020. And I knew that I was going to write about that. And my challenge was about knowing how vulnerable to be, because as a therapist, we're trained to not share too much about yourself personally, and because it might be it can cause complications and the wrong kind of curiosity with your clients and so on. But you know what, I'm freelance and I do share bits of myself with my private clients anyway, the one-to-ones and small groups. And I just thought, do you know what, I need to be vulnerable, because I want to also break that myth that because you're a therapist, you've got it all together, nothing bothers you. And that's not true. It was a very difficult journey, but I wanted to, I wanted to be able to be vulnerable, be open, and model that really, and yeah, just be open. So it was difficult to know the degree of openness.
Sure.
To share, because I have experienced quite a lot of trauma in my life, and the accident caused another trauma, and it was bringing up stuff from history, and it's like, how much do I bring, how much do I allude to, and deciding that, and then also finally handing it in to the publisher. That was terrifying. I thought, it's done now.
Yeah, I know, I can imagine. And like you say, it is that striking the balance, how much is too much or is it too little? I totally get that. Janet, you've alluded a little bit to your story. You mentioned an accident. Is it possible to give us just a snippet so our viewers know what to expect from your book?
Yes, of course, Simone. So yeah, I was
sorry, an airplane going above my head.
It sounds like my tummy when I've not had breakfast. I've had breakfast today, it wasn't me. Okay, yeah, so what happened was, yeah, just an ordinary day, and I was walking across the zebra crossing, walking back to my car, and this car came, and I thought it was going to stop. It didn't stop, it hit me, and I was thrown into the air. I was trying to get my break my fall, and I could see the car underneath me. And then I felt bang, and I felt another bang. And the next thing I knew, I was shouting, "You hit me on a crossing, you hit me on a crossing." And I was trying to get up, but I couldn't. And then this man said to me, he said, well, your lungs are working perfectly. Let's check the rest of you. And then I blacked out.
Wow.
And the what I've written about in the book is some of my journey having been in hospital for 17 days, and how it's turned my life upside down, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's affected my I've had fractures, and it's affected my eyesight and other things. And I'm very visual. I'm an artist. I draw portraits, and so it was about my journey of navigating my life through this challenging season, and also not having any treatments because of lockdown. It was lockdown, so I couldn't get the help I needed.
Wow, Janet, that's quite a lot, and I have to say I'm really sorry to hear that you went through that. But I mean, it's really good to see you here today, and though it's a journey, it sounds like you've done quite a bit of that journey, and God willing, you will reach the end in terms of your healing and being totally restored.
Thank you.
I think this rather aptly makes you an ambassador for hope. And if there was one message that you wanted to share with your readers, or indeed the viewers, what would that be as an ambassador of hope?
Ambassador of hope. I love that term, because I often say that where there's life, there is hope. If you're alive, then there are still things you can do in your life. And so I want to say, the fact that you're alive, well done. Whatever you've been through, you've survived it. It's even better to thrive. So I'd say get the help you need, whatever that is, whether it's through counselling or coaching, or friends and family to support you in a way that they may not have done before. And never give up on yourself. Never give up on yourself. Keep going. And when you've come to the end of yourself as well, like, even before you've come to the end of yourself, just include God in your journey. He says, cast all your cares upon me because I care for you. I can carry those cares for you. And it's still, even knowing that I have quite a strong Christian faith, and even knowing that, it still was difficult. But I'd say keep going. Never give up on yourself, and never give up on your dreams, and just keep moving, keep going.
Sure. At the time when the accident happened, and I'm sorry to have to take you back, if anyone had said to you at that point that you would be sharing your story quite openly now, as you are today, with the world, what would you have said to them?
Surprisingly, I would have said yes. I believe it, because I've always believed, for a long time, I've always believed there's a purpose in the pain, and the fact that I was alive is incredible. The paramedic that was visiting her mother in the bed next to me in hospital said, Janet, in 27 years as a paramedic, I have never known anyone to survive such an accident without being paralyzed from the neck down, without needing multiple surgeries with metal rods and poles holding you together, or without being brain damaged, or any combination of those three. None of those apply to me. Okay. And she said, you're a walking miracle. Well, I wasn't walking. I still not quite got the hang of the walking bit. But so we made a joke of it. You're a sitting miracle, because that was the reality. The doctors and the different surgeons were astonished. They heard what happened, and they looked at my notes. Yes, there are injuries, and my mobility has been affected as a result. But I'm just very grateful. And I'm sorry I've forgotten your original question.
No, it was just about is it something you think you would have shared? Because obviously it's such a traumatic point in time. And
yes, because I'm actually a trauma specialist. I know that I would get through the trauma,
yeah,
and I'd need some help with that, but I knew I would get, I know this too will pass, and I just knew that to go through something like this that changes your life on every level, every aspect of your life, your spirit, your soul, your body, how you feel about yourself. I knew that there's got to be lessons in that. I had to draw out the lessons, and I wanted to be able to encourage others. Again, with that, where there's life, there's hope. So I didn't want to waste the pain. And I just thought, well, this can be turned around to encourage others and equip and empower them at some stage. And I used to make jokes about it in the hospital that I'll write about. This will be in my book when I'm, when I'm 100 years old or something. I thought I would do it one day, but I had no idea I'd do it so soon. But like I say, when the opportunity came up, it's like, yes, I'll do it now.
absolutely.
But I knew I would write about it at some stage.
And it's interesting, the choice of words you use there. I didn't want the pain to go to waste, because that involves opening up and communicating, being open, being transparent. And it's not something that comes very naturally to some of us. We suffer in silence. I know that all too well. We prefer to keep things in and deal with it our own way. We often feel that, what's the point sharing? Nobody else can help me. I'm in this situation by myself. And I mean, yeah, what you're describing there is the art of communication, the art of learning to, a problem aired is a problem shared, as they say, and knowing that we're not on this earth alone. No man is an island. So being able to recognize that as part of your journey to healing is amazing. It really is.
Yes, thank you. And Simone, what you said as well about no man is an island. Very often we feel like we're an island, and being alone and isolated is one of the biggest existential fears that mankind has. And when you feel alone, it affects your health. But research shows that people who are isolated tend to have more illness. And the people, especially a lot of older people, they tend to a lot of them tend to die off a bit earlier if they're very lonely and very isolated. So there is something to be said for that. No man is an island, and I understand what it's like to feel very isolated and to not be able to trust people. This has been from a while ago, where I came in the summaries. I came up with a prayer. I don't remember how, but I came up with a prayer that I used to say was, Lord, please show me who I can trust, and with what information prepare their heart to receive what I have to say, and help me to just know how much to share. And my knees were knocking and my teeth were chattering. But as I've done that bit by bit, I've learned how to trust bit by bit. And so I've built on that over the years, in my personal life, and even being vulnerable about what's going well, what's not going well, with work. And I just want to encourage people that if you pray something like that and just take that opportunity, you'll be surprised at who will step forward to support you. People that were waiting in the wings, not even knowing that they're there to support and encourage you. And it strengthens your confidence in your relationships. When we have better quality relationships, we thrive.
Definitely. It's interesting. What you're describing there are the invisible angels that we all have, the invisible guardian angels. They're all around us. But if you don't venture out to them and say, listen, I'm struggling, I need help, this is what's happened, how are they going to know just to step forward and help you? So
yes, we have not, sorry.
And I was just going to say, that's pretty powerful. Please go ahead.
Yes, so we have not because we ask not. So and I found that when you ask, it's surprising who is there, who steps forward, and it's also surprising some of the people you think would have helped you. There's no response, there's no help, or there's judgment even, but that's okay. We focus, we choose to focus on the positive, acknowledge, that I felt let down by those people. I've known them my whole life, or however long I've known them, and I thought this was reciprocal, but sometimes that happens, it's like, ouch. Acknowledge the pain of that, and then also embrace the ones that have stepped up for you.
That's
But
it.
most of all, step up for yourself.
Yes, yes. And it's a learning process, isn't it? It's probably better to know those who are not going to be there for you now rather than later. Going through life assuming that, you know, these are your friends, when in actual fact, they may be far from it. So they're nothing but positives. Nothing but positives.
Yes.
I really,
Yes. Focus on that. What we focus on becomes bigger for us.
it does. That's absolutely right. Janet, what advice would you give to others who may be in a position similar to yourself? So when you were thinking about writing the story, but then you had the doubts creeping in, the, you know, voices saying, well, who's going to want to know your story, etc. We've all suffered with those. And they can be paralyzing sometimes. They can stop us from going forward and from, you know, becoming our true selves. What would you say to that person who's probably in that position right now and not knowing how to step out and step forward?
I'd say feel the fear and take the courage and do it anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. And if you're thinking of writing a story, I'd say contact Divine Flow Publishing, because there is going to be another round of the anthology. And so there's opportunities to do that within a supportive group, with mentoring, and not only do the Divine Flow know their business and know the industry, and are successful, they also really care about you. They really care about you as a person, and trying to, and they support you on all levels. It's not just give us the manuscript, we're off. No, they really care. So I think this is the best way to start. And your story is the things you've been through have made you who you are today. And although you may not feel like you are where you want to be yet, life is a process. And share your story, because with all due respect, there's nothing that's uncommon to man. There's, no matter what you've been through, some other people have been through it too. And your story, you sharing your story, not only will that help you to step out into another level of freedom from your past, it would also inspire somebody else, and you can give them hope. And if they've got that hope to keep going, you know, wouldn't it be great to know that that one person, at least one person, will be able to say, I kept going because of you and your story. So do it, and it'll open up other opportunities for you. You're surprised.
But you just never know. You just never know, right? And yeah, I think it's a fitting time actually to give a big shout out to Divine Flow Publishing, like you said, Camille, who was at the helm of that publishing company, Divine Flow Publishing. Amazing, absolutely amazing, as Janet said. They were there throughout the process, the whole team, to hold your hand, to give you the advice, to literally take you through step by step, because it can be daunting. You know, when you hear about publishing a book, if you haven't done it before, it's a whole new area to navigate, actually. And they were absolutely fantastic. So the first step, of course, is to just make that decision, you know, start writing. And if you wanted to consider the Navigating Life Anthology Series 2, by all means, feel free to get in touch with the team, because they helped Janet and I, you know, make it to where we are today, publishing our story. So that's sterling advice. Thank you. That really is. Going forward now, Janet, the agenda. What's next for Janet? What next are you planning to do?
Okay, so I'm obviously continuing my healing journey, and because of that, I'm not able to see as many counseling and coaching clients as I could have before. Yet I've got all this information that I want to share with people. So I'm in the process now of gathering 25 years of knowledge, experience, training, and resources, and putting those into some other books, and also into workshops and training, so that I can work with some groups rather than work so much on a one-to-one level. so I want to bring the resources that I've helped others with to you and other people like you with different issues. So people struggling with trauma, with self-doubt. If you're struggling with forgiveness, you know, I want to teach about what forgiveness is, what it isn't, and the benefits of that, and the process of it, and there's a lot of things that we struggle with in life that we don't have the resources. We're not taught how to do them. So I want to be able to teach you how to deal with some of these things. So watch this space, because there will be some workshops coming up, and that will be able to support you in different areas of your life, especially around your relationships with yourself and relationships with others.
Fantastic.
Yes.
What I'm hearing there, Janet, the content that you're going to share will no doubt be fantastic, but it's interesting how I think the accident is going to inform so much of what you're going to now put into those workshops and the content, because you're touching on some very pertinent topics there. You talk about forgiveness, you're talking about trauma, all of the things which no doubt you would have gone through. So I think whoever is fortunate and blessed enough to go on one of those workshops is in for a real treat, because that's, you know, information that will be coming from the heart. So I look forward to learning more about that, I must say.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you, Janet, so much. Thank you. It's been a real pleasure and honor serving you today. Thank you for sharing some of your story. The idea was to give a little bit of information about the Navigating Life Anthology series, which is due to be launched on the 31st of July at 10 a.m. It will be an online event, and the information will be coming around very soon. And of course, information also about how to buy the books will be coming out. So do keep your eyes peeled. Janet, if people wanted to find out more about you or to follow you on your journey, and especially in terms of forthcoming workshops, etc., what's the best way of contacting you?
Okay, there are two main ways. I have a website, which is janetmcnish.com, janetmcnish.com, and you can contact me through there, or you can contact me through Facebook in Messenger. So those are the two main ways.
Fantastic. I'll get the information from you, and I'll include that in the link below so that people can see and yeah, connect as they will. Once again, it's been a real pleasure having you on my platform today. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best on your journey in terms of the healing and recovering, and pray that you are granted full restoration back to 100% health.
Thank you. Thank you, Simone. I will be. I will not give up. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.